What's up, Journey Disc Golf? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the long-awaited part 5 of the road to 450. Now, if you've been following along in this series, you know that we started this just about a year ago trying to see if we could throw 450 and what it would take to get there. I put out 4 episodes, 4 parts on that series, and then nothing. Life got busy, work got busy, I had another kid, so this series had to get put on the back burner. But here we are, we're finally back to it, and we got some big updates for you. Today we're talking all about form and technique, the changes I've made, the changes I still need to make, and we're gonna have a little update, see exactly how far we're throwing. Let's get after it. All right, so we just pulled up to the field and there's a couple things I've been working on in terms of my form and my power that I'm hoping will make a big difference today. What we're gonna do is we're gonna throw 10 max distance shots. We're gonna see what kind of distance we get, and I'll show you guys the farthest one of those. So I'm really hoping today's the day that I can break 400. Let's get out, warm up, and throw some shots. See what we got. All right, hey, so we just made it out to our longest drive. We're tracking it on UDisc. We're reading 415, which I'm pretty fired up about. I broke that 400 mark, which was the first huge barrier I had to get past. That drive felt good. Now, to be fair, of the 10 I threw, I only got one to the 415 mark, but I had a couple others right around 400, so pretty excited about that. Definitely some big progress, some big distance gains so far. Okay, so there are two main things that I've really been focusing on that helped me throw farther. The first is staying on the balls of my feet, staying in an athletic position and really focusing on getting explosion off that back leg. When I come through on my X step, on the balls of my feet, weight over my left foot, and then stepping out onto the ball of my right foot before I go into the heel and drive through. That made a big difference. But the second, and I think maybe the biggest thing that I changed is I realized in my reach back and my coil, I was only coiling about 45 degrees. I wasn't getting the full 90, the full coil. So what I really focused on in these throws is getting all the way back, a full coil, and then pulling through. And I think that extra distance added a lot of speed and a lot of power. Now, the one thing I will say is when I first started trying to focus on this, I was grip locking everything. So it kind of changed a little bit of the timing on the release. So that's something I had to work on and overcome. Once I hit that release properly, it really added a lot of distance to my throw. All right, so it's day 2. We're back in the field. Yesterday we came out and we threw 415, which I'm pretty stoked about. That's a huge improvement for me. But when I got home and I looked over the footage, I realized something, and that's that I had kind of cheated my way to 415. See, while I had found a lot more speed and a lot more power in my throw, my form still didn't look good. There were still a lot of issues that I hadn't corrected. I had just coiled farther and pulled harder. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it definitely allowed me to throw farther. I know that if I want to hit 450, those other form issues that I didn't fix, that I sort of bypassed, are going to be a real issue. So today we're back in the field, we're slowing way down, we're only throwing putters, mids, a couple fairways, but lower speed discs. We're just trying to focus on fixing the form. So a couple things I noticed that I still need to work on. One of the biggest ones is my wrist. You'll notice in that reach back, I still kind of blow my wrist out, the disc kind of pops out, it creates this whole weird thing, it messes up my grip. Sometimes when I'm pulling through, I only have the disc by a couple fingers. That's no good, that's gotta go. The second is that I'm still over lunging on my plant step. I'm getting way extended, it's causing me to fall over the disc instead of pulling through. That's an issue, we gotta fix it. Third, if I could count, the disc on the reach back and the trajectory, it kind of comes up, it comes down, it does this sort of swooping motion. I want to eliminate that. That's no good. There's some inconsistency there. I don't like it. So I'm going to try and clean that up, try and get my box to look a little bit better, stay on a one plane, out, in, out. We'll see what we can do. So we're slowing it down out here. We're taking it slow. We're working with the putters. Let's see what we can make happen. Okay, so something I'm doing that's really helpful that I highly recommend, on this other tripod, I have my phone set up recording slow motion video, and every couple throws, every 3 or 4, I'm taking a break, I'm coming over to the phone, and I'm reviewing my form to see if I'm actually doing what I think I'm doing. 'Cause oftentimes when I'm out here throwing, I feel like I'm doing it correctly. Then I look at the video and it's no good. So those last 4 that I just threw felt really good. We're gonna go ahead and check the tape and see how they actually look. All right, so hey, as you can see at this point after watching some of that footage, I'm struggling pretty mightily out here to make the form changes that I'm trying to make. Ultimately, I think that muscle memory is so ingrained in my form and my technique, it's taking almost excruciating levels of slowing down to be able to make these changes. And what I've found is the longer I've been out here throwing, the more likely I have been to revert back to what I used to do. So I finally resorted to throwing some standstills there at the end. They felt a little bit better. I still have that wrist pop. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So hey, if you know anything about that, if that's a bad thing, a good thing, I'm starting to get confused. So let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your advice on that. Maybe it's not an issue and I'm focusing on it when I shouldn't be, but I certainly don't see any of the pros doing it to the extent that I do it. So I gotta figure that out at some point, but I really think moving back to those standstills is what this is gonna take. I'm gonna have to deconstruct my entire form and rebuild it from the ground up, which, you know, I've always heard pros say, if you want to get better, you have to be willing to get worse first. And I guess that's true, although it really sucks. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a bummer to not be able to throw for a long time until I can rebuild that form. All right, so we moved over to the batting cages because they finally opened up and I got tired of chasing discs. We're doing only standstills now, and already I think I'm starting to figure out some things that are starting to feel a little different. The biggest one so far is this. In my shoulders, all the pros, as they're coming into that final step, the shoulders are on this upward trajectory. And then on the rotation, if this lead shoulder comes down, so instead of just twisting straight back, focusing on trying to bring that shoulder down. So you kind of have this like circle pendulum thing going on and then driving through. So I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. In my head it does. Seems to be helping me so far. We're gonna keep doing some standstills, see how this goes. All right, so another thing I'm focusing on, I watch a lot of Slingshot Disc Golf. Check them out, absolutely solid content, is feeling the throw through the course, especially here on my left side on my right-handed backhand. So trying to generate a lot of power through the court, making sure I'm really feeling it, getting to an athletic and explosive position. Okay, so you might have noticed on that last set of throws, with all those putter shots especially, I really slowed down, like upshot speed slowed down, and the wrist, totally fixed, no issue at all. So clearly something that I'm doing when I try and power is causing that wrist to pop out too much. Felt good, it looked good. I don't know if it's gonna go very far, but maybe if I can clean it up slow, then I can clean it up a little faster and a little faster and a little faster, and maybe in 10 years I'll know how to throw a disc golf disc. I'm just kidding, by the way, it'll probably not take that long. All right, so it's day 3. Yesterday, after doing all that field work, I went out and played around with a buddy and quickly realized that when I was trying to actually score well and throw far, all the work that I had done in the field working on my form kind of fell apart. So today during my lunch break, I went back to the field and I tried to really focus on throwing well with the form that I had worked so much on yesterday morning, but trying to actually do it with a full walk-up and see how that went. I'll play some of the footage I recorded as I keep talking, but as you can see, it quickly fell apart. So the big takeaway for me is that if I really want to focus on getting the right form, if I want to make these changes and have them stick, I'm gonna have to be super disciplined in taking it slow, in really building from the ground up, maybe just doing standstills for a while, then just one step, then just a couple steps, then a full walk up slowly and then quickly. But that probably means I can't play any scored rounds for a little while. And if I do, either I'm just gonna have to sacrifice form to be able to score well, or I'll have to score really poorly and try and focus on my form. I think that's the challenge in making these minute changes to your disc golf form, is it takes a lot of time to override that muscle memory. So the plan moving forward is to take it slow, is to not really play full rounds, just to focus on my form, try and get these changes to stick a little bit every day until I've built new muscle memory, until I've retrained my body how to throw correctly. So even though I did throw 415 in this video, I know that I won't be able to replicate that with good form, at least for a long time, but I really feel like this is gonna be necessary to get to that 450 mark. I think with the current form, with the issues in the form that I had, 415 was probably pretty close to the max, especially with the issues going on with my wrist and with the disc kind of popping out of my hand instead of the grip. I wasn't able to generate a ton of spin into it. I was really just kind of muscling the disc as hard and as far as I can. So stay tuned to the channel. We'll definitely have more updates coming. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate all the support. If you enjoy this kind of content, like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot in my ability to keep making this sort of disc golf content for you. My name's Andrew Wood, and remember, the journey is the destination. I'll catch you in the next one.